Now in today's video I'm going to share with you an exercise I've been using to get rid of and control my desires. Now I learned this exercise at a university course called Philosophy as a Way of Life, and at the end of the course there was this week called Live Like a Stoic Week, where each day we had to apply a practical exercise to live like a Stoic. And so one exercise that really stood out the most was this exercise where you control your desires. You figure out what steps you're taking to satisfy your desires and how you can eliminate those steps. Then you try to get down deep into yourself and figure out why you're actually desiring these things. And so what I realized is I was desiring things like my phone and laptop and food, and what these things really were, after I'd conquered the desire, was they were just ways I would entertain myself so I wasn't bored and sitting with myself. This really freed my mind up to control my actions, really know why I'm desiring these things and give me a bit more peace of mind. So this is the framework that they made us go through. You first want to figure out what are the steps you have to take to gratify your desire. So if you want to, say, order some food online, you have to get your phone, open the app, look through all the different places to eat, pick one, then go through all their menu, pick a couple food you like, place the order, and then wait for the delivery to come. When they come, open the door, take the food, put it on your plate, and then go eat it. There's all these different steps that you can take to gratify this desire. Or there's also these steps you can take to gratify it. You then want to figure out what are the steps you can take to eliminate the desire. Say for instance, you open your phone, then close it. If you open the app, close the app. If you're scrolling through the menu, stop scrolling and put your phone away. There's all these different steps. You have to break the momentum. You have to figure out what steps you can take to break this momentum that's causing you to continue to satisfy this desire. You then want to think about what are the consequences of satisfying desire. Well, maybe with the food you're spending money, you could have been spending money on food that would improve your health rather than food that might be detrimental to your health. Might cause you to have bad sleep, might cause you to put on weight, might cause you to have low energy. These are things that are the sort of consequences of satisfying that desire to eat the unhealthy food and take away. And then you've got to figure out what are the consequences of eliminating this desire. You potentially might have to go find another food that you might eat that's more healthier. It might take time to cook the food. Potentially there aren't any consequences of eliminating desire. Maybe you want to eliminate that desire and figure out some sort of healthier food you can eat. So then you've got to look at these 4 quadrants and apply them. So really you just want to be journaling each step, what you're thinking, what are the thoughts you're having to satisfy the desire, what are the thoughts and steps you're taking to eliminate it, consequences of satisfying the desire, then consequences of eliminating it. You'll eventually find that really there's just this made up story going around your head about why you should satisfy this desire. Then you want to figure out what's the real reason. Maybe you've had a hard day at work and you don't really feel the energy. Maybe the low energy is a result of the poor food. So maybe fixing that poor food will help you get more energy and you'll feel more motivated to go cook something. So you want to figure out what's the real reason. Now the thing I found most beneficial about doing this exercise is it provides a rational decision-making criteria and a framework. Rather than just relying on your chimp brain, when we want something we get this peak in dopamine that then has a trough and goes down, and that downward slope creates motivation to go satisfy that desire. So it's not your fault, this is how the body works. We want to satisfy that desire. And so this decision-making criteria and framework helps override that human evolution, makes you think about what you really want, what are the consequences of this, is there something else I should be going after? And you can retrain your body doing this, using this framework. Another thing I learned is that we have unlimited desires in today's world, but the thing is each desire has a consequence. And so you've got to pick your desires wisely because they each have consequences. And the more you desire something, usually there's an inverse relationship. So the more you desire something, the bigger the consequences. This isn't always the case, but it's generally the case. If you desire a donut, the consequences, it's going to raise your blood sugar levels, it's going to make you put on weight, it's going to maybe ruin your sleep. And so usually you have these short-term desires which are much stronger, and those ones are ones that have bigger consequences. So that's why you've got to delay gratification. So I realized that for myself, I really desired going on my laptop, and that cured my boredom. So what I realized is I've got to figure out how can I remove this desire from myself. And the way I did that was looking at the consequences. I'm going to have less time for doing fun things, working on my goals, stuff like that. And that puts your life into perspective. So there's a few tips that I've also learned is that do this journaling. You want to be writing down your thoughts, and it's the most effective method I've used from satisfying my desires. You can't really rely on your mind to work through these 4 steps. Write them down. Talk about your desires to yourself. What are the steps you can gratify them, eliminate them? What are the consequences of satisfying and eliminating these desires? And then you got to really try ask yourself, what are you really desiring that's hidden below the surface level desire? So I desired the laptop and the phone, but what I was really desiring below that surface level was the dopamine, the distraction from being bored. And so once you realize that, then you can find solutions. You can free yourself up from this external material desire. Now, I hope you found this valuable. I hope you apply this framework, journal your notes, think about what you can actually do to satisfy and eliminate your desires, figure out the consequences, figure out what you're actually desiring below the surface level. Try this, apply this to your life, try and figure out how you can improve your life, and let me know how it goes applying this framework. And I'll see you again in the next video.